Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Vendor Voices podcast. This is Sammi, your host, wedding photographer, and I'm here with Korrigan.
Hey guys, wedding filmmaker here based out of Chicago, and we're actually joined today by the lovely Christabel.
Woo! Amibloom Florals.
Hi, so excited.
Amazing
Yes.
florist here today. You guys are in for a special treat. If you're a bride planning your wedding, she's going to be...
Specifically, if you're looking for your florals right now, this
Yes.
is the episode for you.
Yes, for
So,
sure. She's going to be diving into all the different things you need to know before you book your florist for your wedding day. And on top of that, too, if you are a florist, you're going to enjoy this as well because, fellow vendor here. So I'm sure you'll get some good insights from her as well. And we're excited to dive in and get to know you better and share your story.
Well, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
of course.
And now, without further ado, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Christabel, tell us a little bit about your company, how long you've been in business, and kind of like give us a little rundown on
Origin
who you are.
story.
A little origin story,
Yeah,
if you
tell
will.
us a little bit about how Amibloom Florals came to be.
Yeah, so I guess the origin story starts with my mom because this is a family business. My mom used to work as a florist for two very big event companies in Chicago in the 90s. So she did events for Oprah and Michael Jordan, like again, 90s,
Wow.
like very big, very exciting. And when you have a job like that, I'm sure you guys can relate, like friends and family will be like, hey, can you help out for my wedding or my party?
100%.
Yeah, right.
Which you gotta love too. Like that kind of
Yeah.
helps you build it up. too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my mom took me as her little apprentice. I'm talking like 5 years old.
Oh my gosh,
would
just like you're doing with your daughter now.
Yes, she would teach me about how to care for plants, the mechanics that go into it, like tools that you use for, specific flowers. And so I just started very young, learning the industry. And when I got to an age where my friends and family were getting married and I could do it on my own, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do your wedding for you, like no problem. So I did a couple of friends' weddings, and then I was like, I think I should do this for money now. And
100%.
I've always wanted to have my own business. Always knew I wanted to partner up with my mom. So in 2019, I started taking it more seriously and, doing my LLC and getting my website set up and everything like that. So that's
Very
kind of
important.
like the origin of Amibloom Florals.
Wow. And did your relationship with your mom kind of like spark that, want to own your own business and that entrepreneurship like mindset or?
Yeah. So I went to college for graphic design and entrepreneurship. So I always knew, like, I want a family-run business. I want
Totally.
to work with my mom one day and have something we can build together. And
Aw.
if other people want to come in that we know and love, then, even better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the story behind the name Amibloom?
Yes, so my name is Christabel. It's not Ami, it's not Amy, but I wanted a name that really spoke to like our values. So Ami in French is a prefix for friendship. And I always want my couples to feel like they are our friends. So if there's a problem or if they're confused or if they're stressed out, call me up, email me, like whatever it is, text me, and we'll walk through it or we'll talk through it. It doesn't even have to be with flowers. Like if the day
Wow.
of you need something done, whether it's like tying bows on your wedding chairs, like let me know and I will get it done. So I want that kind of ease, friendship, customer service with florals.
It's definitely not like you don't want any of your clients or brides and grooms or couples to be like a number. It's like
Right.
text
Yeah.
me. Like
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely see that in you. You're really personable. Just
I
from the
try.
time- I mean, we've been working together now. Like we've worked together on a couple different styled shoots, and so I know how you operate, and you are just very intentional. And I
Even
appreciate
just
that.
now, I was here late today. I'm out myself. I was here late, and Christabel literally noticed she was giving these amazing bouquets, by the way.
Oh
to
yeah, these are all designed by her, by the way.
Shout these out. We're going to throw
Yeah.
up like some close-up clips in the
Yeah.
podcast. But these amazing bouquets, and a couple did not bring theirs home with them, and she's
Yeah,
like,
they
I'm gonna run out
forgot.
and like give this to them. It was so sweet.
Yeah,
So that's
really
awesome how
sweet.
you just like
Yeah.
have that just in your aura
Oh,
as
yeah.
a
That's
person.
Good. Well, flowers like genuinely make people feel happy, and
Yeah.
like they give you like a sense of like peace or just brightness to your day. So it's kind of cool to pass that along whenever I can. And
For sure.
I've had a wedding, and I know what planning a wedding involves, and it can be stressful. So
Yeah.
one of the things I say to my couples is, I hope this part of wedding planning is the easiest part
Totally.
you will experience, because we'll talk today and then I will take over and I will get it done and you don't have to worry about it.
Wow.
Yep, I love that. You're amazing. You're amazing. Was there a moment that you can think of, or maybe a project that made you just feel like, yes, this is what I'm meant to be doing?
Ah, wow. I feel like because I started at a young age,
Yeah.
without knowing it, it just feels second nature to
Yeah.
me by
Yeah.
now. But I am very grateful for every bride that I get to work with. It's their day, and I'm just a really small part of it. And I want to make sure my part, for years to come, is a positive like memory. Like, oh, I loved my
Yeah.
bouquet, or like, oh, she was so helpful that day. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the part that like I feel good about at the end of the day.
Totally.
Yeah. Aw.
I have a question that kind of is popping up. You're saying like all this, like you've started, when you were like a child. Like, what's your earliest memory when it comes to like doing like this florist kind of like? Was your mom doing florals for weddings as well, or is it kind
Yeah,
of?
so she did the personals, and she worked with centerpieces, and she also did like the luxe fabric draping
Okay.
that you see in some venues. But my earliest memory, I don't even know whose wedding it was. It was someone in the family. And I remember my mom doing the bouquet, and she was having me, I think, put greenery in some of the centerpieces. And she told me, like, no, not like that. And, like what, for me, it was always like, oh, let me do better, because, like, this is my mom's work. I have to try my best. So I
Totally.
remember just always, and she was never shy to give me corrections, which I think is great, because then I just knew from a young age, like, it has to look great for the person, because
Yeah.
this is their day.
Totally. Wow.
I don't know what age I was. I just remember being very small and being like, okay, pressure.
Yeah. Feeling the heat a little bit.
Where do you typically draw your creative inspiration from when you're designing floral bouquets and floral sets?
Well, a lot is social media, like what's trending right now and
Yeah.
like why. Also, I love to go to museums. Or like an art exhibit,
Yeah.
and just seeing like what colors they're using. Also, like Target, like very random, but
wow.
when you go into Target and you look at like the pillows and the towels section, those colors are what's going to be in season, like now and like next season. So like if you guys ever want to decorate your house or the studio and you're like, well, what color is in right now, go to Target. And
Wow.
because they have algorithms
Yeah.
showing you like what people are liking right now. So go use their money and software that they're using and be like, okay, so seafoam green is in. All right, I'm going to incorporate
Wow.
that somewhere.
What a fun tip. Especially
Interesting.
if you're like maybe trying to be like a trendy bride and you're
Yeah.
getting married that year, be like, okay, here are my
Yeah.
colors maybe, or something like that. Or that's a big tip for florists out there too.
Yeah.
Like, that's
interesting.
crazy.
Interesting.
I'm gonna
Okay.
definitely be like looking around those sections
Oh,
next time I go
definitely.
to Target and be
Yeah.
like, okay, so this is what's in. Okay.
Yeah, right. Do you have a favorite flower to work with, or maybe one that gives you the most challenge?
Ooh. So, favorite flower to work with. I know this is going to be controversial, but maybe to like brides, but to florists, they'll know why. Carnations are amazing because they're so durable. They're like strong. They will last for hours after being out of water, and they come in almost every color.
Wow.
And you can manipulate them to look not like a carnation too. But they get a bad rap because people are like, oh, they're not expensive. But they're great. A more fun flower, I would say, is like a peony, just because
Yeah.
in season they're huge and they smell so
They
fragrant
do.
and they're just so beautiful and luxurious.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I remember, I think it was like a year or two ago, I did a wedding where like the main like floral thing that they were using was carnations. I was like, this is so interesting because like typically they might be more of like a accent kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of like the main pieces were that. I was like, this is actually very like unique. I hadn't like seen that before. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you, I know like a lot of couples, and I don't want to like out yourself like, oh, I never do this or something like that. What do you feel about couples that are like, I just want all white flowers?
I would say over 50% of the weddings I do are very traditional, where it's like
Yeah.
all white flowers and greenery.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that because it's traditional.
Timeless.
Traditional, it's timeless,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
It's very elegant.
I personally
Yeah.
do like it, so I was like, I know some florists are
I
like,
do
oh, I have to
too.
do white again or something like that. And I was like,
all white
but
roses.
you did say like about 50% is that, so I can see how some florists might be like, oh, another all white flower wedding or something like that. And so, do you enjoy those moments where you are able to like pop in some more color?
Oh,
and kinda-
definitely.
Yeah.
I love to play with funky colors and design whenever the bride's like, you know what? No traditional flowers here. Let's go crazy. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm in it.
I feel like your setup here is kind of a good example of that.
Playing with
potentially.
color,
Playing with
yeah.
color and different textures and different types of flowers and
I feel like it's really perfect for like Easter being right around the corner
Yes.
too. It's like, oh
yeah,
wow, this is,
and we're
like,
right. We
so
just
nice.
started spring, so
It's
Yeah.
warm
spring.
today.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
one of the hardest parts about being a florist when it comes to like, is it like doing like a very intricate like bouquet for a bride? Is it, do you do like the archway, like the, is that called the wedding arch?
Yeah,
right?
the
Yeah,
arch.
that's what I'm thinking of. Like, what is
Yeah,
the
what's
one
the
thing
most
that's like
challenging?
most challenging?
I think it would be doing an installation at a venue that you haven't gone to before, because then it's like thinking on your feet, like, okay, how do I make this stable? How do I make it so you can't see the mechanics? You know, it's, which I kind of like. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that kind of problem
Problem
solving
designer.
aspect.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
your graphic design background, I feel
Yeah.
like.
It's like a fun challenge, and then you have to, you know, figure it out like right then and there. But that could be challenging. It could be stressful. But then you finish and you're like, wow, this looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. My fiance is a graphic designer, and so I
Yeah.
was like, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I see
Shout
that
out Reagan.
kind of energy. Yeah, shout out Reagan. That's cool. So what is one of the, like, I know some florists do like, you know, either crazy arches, crazy floors like hanging from the ceiling or something like that. Like, describe, or maybe even if you have a picture of it, what's one of the more like intricate pieces that you might have put together? Do you have something that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, we've done installations where the flowers are up above in like a tent style venue.
Oh, nice.
So we've done greenery like going across the whole tent,
Ooh.
which adds so much drama.
Oh my
You know,
gosh,
when
yeah.
you're there.
Yeah.
We were at Salvage One last year, and they have these two huge pillars in the ceremony space, and we did greenery and flowers, kind of like a canopy
Wow.
over, and it was really fun and exciting. It's a really tall space too, so you're like way up there on the ladder.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I would
wow.
get nervous. I'm scared of
Yeah.
heights. I was like, that would not be the vendor role for me.
I usually have my husband do the very tall work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Is it fun working? Do you work alongside your husband often, or like is he like there for the tall
Yeah.
installations?
for
I
the
guess.
tall-
Or,
If I need like building
labor.
help, yeah. If I need building help, or if I know it's gonna be like a 12-foot ladder, I'm like, you're coming with me,
coming with me.
just so you know.
That's
But
fun.
it is fun.
Great.
He's great where he lets me just tell him like, do it like this, just like I want, and he's like, yes,
Yeah.
okay, you're the boss today. Thank you.
That's awesome. Shout out.
Yeah.
What's
To hubbies.
What's hubby's name? Shout out hubby. Yeah.
Eric.
Eric, you rule.
Shout out Eric. Okay, let's talk about some trends that you're seeing right now. So what are some floral trends that you're loving right now, and which ones do you feel like are on their way out?
Ooh. So floral trends, what I'm seeing is bright colors, like super bright, like fuchsia and like really bold oranges, especially now that it's getting closer to summer.
Yeah.
They want the lively like feel of the color, and also different shapes in the arrangement. So instead of your traditional just like round kind of centerpiece, it's called like a bespoke design, where maybe it's like more of like an inverted triangle.
Oh, wow.
And it's more airy, more like whimsical. But that trend, like I've been seeing for the past year, like they want it to be garden style, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a bit more of that as well, especially like later, like last year, I feel like, or like late summer last year was like kind of popping up, but yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. Which trends do you feel like are kind of on their way out?
Big bouquets. I get more and more brides saying, I don't want a big bouquet. I don't want something like super heavy. I want something dainty and petite. And I can see the appeal because you have to carry that for hours.
The whole day.
Yeah, it's a lot. And now with a smaller bouquet, you can add more specialty flowers that are more expensive, and they give the same like visual impact, but not with like 20 stems. Maybe it's like 10 stems, but they're orchids. So it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really fun. I haven't thought about that. That's really cool. But I get the appeal totally, because like, do I really want to carry around this like suitcase weight of like, flowers all day?
Right, for sure. Well, speaking of budgets, what advice would you give to a couple that's trying to prioritize, you know, having beautiful flowers but working on a tighter budget?
So first I would say, like, for any brides out there, like, know what your budget is overall for the wedding.
What do you recommend, or what do you typically see is what like couples are spending on florals? What is that percentage of their overall budget?
I would say 7 to 10%, unless you are a bride that loves flowers or that you know you want a big impact on like the ceremony. So if you want an arch and you want it decked out and you know you want that to be like your focal
Statement
point,
piece.
then you're going to have to increase the budget a little bit more than that. But industry-wide, I would say 7 to 10% of your overall budget.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that huge arch could be 10% of the budget.
Yes,
like if you want it to
easily.
Really pop.
Yeah. Do you ever mix in fake florals with real florals? Do you work with fake florals sometimes?
Yeah, when the occasion calls for it. I have a wedding in August, and they want this. It's normally like a potted plant, like a tree.
Okay.
And it's not sold by the stem, but they want a lot of it everywhere. And in that instance, it's also not in season. So those are things I have to think about. Like if it's in season, or, you know, if they want it in bulk and it's not in their budget, then maybe I might think of like, okay, another solution for it or a substitute flower for it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Christabel, would you be able to talk us through what your process is like working with couples who have no idea what flowers they want?
I want couples to know that it is perfectly okay to go into a consultation not knowing anything, because I think like 50% of my couples are like that, and it's totally fine because I'm used to the process now where I just ask the questions for you that you might not even know to ask. So for me, the process would be to set up a discovery call with you, like a Zoom, usually through Zoom video, so I can see, you know, beautiful faces. And we'll talk about what you like, the theme that you have for your wedding, or colors that you're using.
Like bridesmaids dresses and stuff like that.
What vibe do you want? Like, do you want it moody and romantic? You know, just so I can get a
light,
sense of
airy, ethereal, whimsical.
If you have like a Pinterest or saved pictures from social media, that's a bonus.
Pinterest board, probably super helpful.
Yes, so I can like see into your like mind. This is what you really like.
Totally.
But if you don't have that, then that's totally fine. So after I talk with the couples, I will make either a mood board or a proposal, depending on how much information they have. And then from there, we just make edits until the proposal is exactly what they want. Like, I love everything about this, great. And then we'll do contract deposit. And then we will kind of set up a timeline where we'll talk again closer to the wedding to get all the details of like final guest count, timeline for the day, venue.
When do you need the florals all finished setting up?
Speaking of timeline, what is your typical, just like, I don't know how florists work. Like when a filmmaker shows up to a wedding day, but when do you typically show up to a wedding day to start setting up? I guess it might depend on how much you're doing that day when it comes to like the package that people purchased. But what would you say do you typically like before ceremony? Like when do you show up?
So it could vary because usually the first thing I do is drop off the personals. So that's the boutonnieres, bouquets, and that could
flat lays. I'm always like in the mornings. I'm like, where's the florist? Oh, they'll be here shortly. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. And that's one thing I ask. When is your photographer getting
Yeah.
there?
Wow,
Because they're
okay.
probably going to want to do detail shots,
Yep.
which usually I have like a little baggie for the photographer
Yes.
because now it's like a trend where
Yeah,
you
we
want to
want
do
the
like
florals.
with the shoes and
Yeah.
the rings.
Exactly.
So we'll time that up usually with the photographer. So if the photographer is getting there at 10, we'll get there at 10, deliver
Yeah.
the personals.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're in talks with the venue. So if the venue wants us 3 hours before, then we'll get there right at 3 hours before to do all the
Totally.
work.
Wow.
Got it.
Yeah, because you always want a bit of buffer room between like you getting fully set up and like when you actually need to be set up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you love at least an hour beforehand. You're like stuff is set and ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we touched on timeline of a wedding day, but what about timeline as far as couples reaching out to book you if they wanted to work with you? Like when should a couple ideally reach out to book you?
It depends on what month they're getting married in. Because you guys probably know there's a busy season and there's like a
Absolutely.
less busy season.
Totally.
Yes.
So I would say like if you're getting married in September, October, that's busy season. So you want to give yourself, I would say, at least 10 months
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
Because
Just
by
make
then, I already have like October booked.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if you're getting married in December, I think you have a little more time. So I would say 6 months or maybe a little bit more. But
For winter weddings.
Yeah,
like
for winter
6
weddings.
months or
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay, Christabel, get ready.
Ready.
We're gonna do a rapid fire section here. This is a would you rather rapid fire
Okay.
from Sammi and Korrigan here. We're gonna
We love
rapid fire
these.
off some questions and it's just pick whichever comes quickest to your
Okay,
brain.
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay. Corrigan, you wanna?
I'll start it off. Would
Perfect.
you rather work a wedding with only baby's breath or only dyed blue roses?
Baby's breath.
That seems super easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sammi?
Okay. Would you rather do a winter wedding in a snowstorm or a summer wedding during a massive heat wave?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably the heat wave because I know I can get there, and snowstorms I could be stuck
True.
somewhere.
Yeah, you don't want to risk not being able to show up. Okay.
Okay.
That makes
Would
sense.
you rather have your florals be featured in Vogue or go mega viral on TikTok?
Oh my gosh, this is so tough. Probably Vogue because print lasts way longer than digital.
And TikTok might be going away.
Yeah,
So-
It's not going away.
I mean, I
It's
know
not
it keeps
going
getting
away.
extended, but let's see. Would you rather design florals for a celebrity wedding or a royal wedding?
maybe a royal wedding.
Okay.
That's a solid answer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Would you rather never use peonies again or never use eucalyptus again?
It's a hard
I
one.
guess never use peonies again, which is tough. But I think I can find a substitute.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Amazing. Do we want to do one more or is that
Yeah.
the All right.
Yeah, let's do one more. Let's see. Would you rather have a dream team of helpers or design solo with unlimited budget and unlimited time?
I would always prefer a team.
I
It's a
thought-
lot of
I
work
thought you would
without.
say
Yeah,
that.
it's a lot
Yeah.
of work without a team, and you can just do more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I see one more in here. I'm going to
Oh,
rapid fire
okay.
one more.
Yeah, let's do one more. One
would
last
you
one.
rather do, this says 15, I'm going to say 10. Would you rather do 10 micro weddings in 1 month or one epic 500 plus guest wedding?
Ooh.
The 500 plus.
500
wedding.
plus?
Yeah.
First of all, that's way less work. Think about it's one location to go to.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah.
I mean,
That's-
I'm sure it's a lot of work.
I'm
There's
sure
probably lots of
still,
florals.
But
But
10 days versus one big day.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go one
Yeah,
big
Yeah.
day.
one big day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
and-
probably pick the same for my side of things.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the
Yeah, thank you,
podcast,
guys.
Christabel. And I'm just really grateful that we met you at a recent expo we were at, because you had a booth there, and
Yeah.
just we saw your work. We're like, this girl, she's got it.
Yeah.
She's got it. And I loved your story that you shared, with us,
thank
just
you.
about this being a family business with your mom. And I got to meet her a couple weeks
Yes.
ago. She's a sweetheart. We'll throw a picture of you guys up
Great.
here too, so you guys can see. It's really sweet. We were in the studio. We did a little floral brand shoot.
Super cute.
But if people want to reach out to you, Christabel, where can they find you?
And where do you kind of operate?
Yeah, where do you
So-
operate out of?
So right now we're in Naperville, but we are looking for a new workshop.
Awesome.
Probably still in the west suburbs of
Okay.
Chicago, but that doesn't mean that we don't travel to Chicago to do the majority of our weddings.
Yeah,
but
we're in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
She does travel to Chicago.
Yes. So location-wise, western suburbs, Chicago. We can travel to Indiana, almost anywhere, honestly.
Across the Midwest,
But
yeah.
you can find me on Instagram, amibloom.florals
Okay.
on Instagram, and then website amibloom.com.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Awesome. And we'll add that to the show notes too, you guys. So if you want to go check out her work, reach out to her. And do you have any special offers that we can
Yes, I do.
share with our listeners?
Yes, so if anyone wants to book a consultation, just mention that you heard this episode and you get 10% off your entire proposal.
Wow.
Boom.
Wow. You guys
Huge.
heard it here. That's awesome. Well, make sure you guys reach out to her if you're a bride getting married in the Chicagoland area or in the suburbs of Illinois or across the Midwest, it sounds
Yeah.
like, as well. So that's super exciting. Make sure you guys reach out to her, give her a follow, and make sure you guys like and subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Korrigan, if they want to reach out to you, where can we find you?
Totally. Check me out at korrigan.mp4 on Instagram.
Yep.
And Sammy, how about
You
yourself?
can find me at Captured by Sammi, as per usual. And we'll also link that in the show notes as well. And until next time,
Thank
See
you
guys.
guys.
planning.
Happy planning.
Bye, guys.